Discover the hidden Israelite ancestry of some of the most powerful nations on earth. Watch as Scripture unveils the terrifying future of America and Great Britain as revealed through the Sabbatical and Jubilee years. Discover the identity of Assyria and its role in this final Jubilee cycle. Learn of the pending judgments that are to be soon poured out as a result of transgressing the sabbatical years. Sighted Moon.
Okay, today is the 8th day. And I got most of my basic training about the Sabbath and holy days in the churches of God. So I don't have no notes for this. I usually do this off the cuff. And so I wore short sleeves today just to get really off the cuff. And now they're starting to get my jokes. But in the churches of God, the 8th day is usually the day you pack up and bug out. So you go there, you wait and wait. When's that last song going to be gone? I got to go pay the bill. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this, and the other thing. But today is a Sabbath. It is a holy day. It is more important this day than any other holy day of all. I would even stretch that and say it's more important than the Sabbath itself. What? The 8th day. Well, that's just the 8th day of the feast. No, it's not a part of the feast. It's the 8th day. It's a separate feast. And you can read about it in Leviticus 23. It's the 8th day. And then what else is it? What else are we told? Not a whole lot. But I had up here for you the millennial days. So you can see that all 7 of them. But there's an 8th one that I didn't have up there, because the 8th one has no end. So how do we learn about the 8th day? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to try and be quick. We mentioned some of it the other day. It starts with the Passover. It starts with the first wave offering. And most people read over the first wave offering and they don't understand what it is. The first wave offering is the barley, and that's the symbolism of the barley being beaten and then being offered to Jehovah. When we see it on where, like I've been saying, the rubber meets the road part, that's when Yeshua came out of the grave and the dead raised up and came back to life. So when they mark the barley, that symbolizes the graves being raised up, where it says in Matthew 27, somewhere around verse 50. The graves were raised up when Yeshua died. The barley, the graves were being marked. Who were those saints? We're not given their names, but they knew they were the saints. Then it says those people came to life. They came back to life when Yeshua came out of the grave. And we know that was Saturday afternoon, late afternoon. So Yeshua comes back to life. These people come out of the grave. This is now Saturday night, and that's when the barley is being beaten and prepared for the wave offering Sunday morning at 9 a.m. What did Yeshua say to Mary? Don't touch me. I have not yet ascended to my Father. Right? What does that mean? Then on the same Sunday, he says to one of the apostles, go ahead, stick your finger in me, touch me. Look, I'm real. Right? Thomas. He's real. But in the morning, you couldn't touch him, but in the afternoon, you could. So what happened? The wave offering was taking place at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. every day to sacrifice the bullocks of your lips. That's what took place. So, Yeshua, Paul says, came out of the grave, and he took captives with him. When you are dead, you are a captive of Satan. And he took captives with him and ascended on high. Now, he also said when he was alive, no man has ascended to heaven except the Father, or Son who has come down from heaven. Okay. Well, if no one's gone to heaven, And, well, if no one's gone to heaven, then everyone's dead. Everyone's dead who's ever lived. But we go to Revelations, and we read in Revelations that there's 24 elders in heaven. How'd they get there? Well, you look up the word elders, and that word elders means ancestors. Jehovah doesn't have ancestors, but we do. Those people who came out of the grave, whether it's 24 or more, we just know that there's 24 throwing their crowns before Jehovah that weren't there before. Because no man has gone to heaven. Not Elijah, not Moses, not King David, not Enoch. Ooh, stepping on toes. Go and look it up. It says later they did other things. Elijah, after he went up in the tornado or the whirlwind, is found writing a letter to a king years later. Oops, missed that verse. Okay, so no one's gone up. Now we got 24 elders in heaven. This is the first wave offering. That's the barley. That's a huge clue. The thief on the tree, today you will be with me in paradise. Today. What's he talking about? He's talking about the millennial day that he was killed on. Remember I showed you that the fourth millennial day, the middle of the millennial week, the temple was built at the beginning. And at the end, in 70 AD, the temple's destroyed. Symbolic of Yeshua being destroyed on the fourth day of the week. The fourth millennial day ends in 84 AD. You have that in your chart, so at the back of the Prophecy of Abraham book, they're right there. The fourth millennial day ends in 84 AD. Therefore, this day, that thief was with Yeshua in paradise. Wow. All he had to do was repent. Because presumably, because he was a Jewish thief, he already kept the Sabbath and the holy days, maybe even the sabbatical years. He just got caught stealing. Okay, so now what's next? The next big event is the next wave offering. The next wave offering is Shavuot. You guys are the wheat. We have tares amongst us. You guys are the wheat. And that's all that wheat stuff, all those wheat parables are talking about. The next Shavuot. You want, and this is all part of that first resurrection. You want to be part of that wave. You want to be part of those two loaves. You know, the two loaves, they got leaven in them. They're not perfect. Like me. Like you. So, these two loaves are, you know, we speculate they're Judah and Israel. Okay, that works. I can go with that. But they're unleavened. No, they're leavened. Sorry, they're leavened. And that's the next wave offering. When's that to take place? I believe it's in 2033 when the saints are raised up at the end of the tribulation. Because it's not going to be multiple times this take place. It's only going to take place one time. Okay, so now, stop there because I think you got that part. But that's the wave offering. So the next thing to come after that, okay, stop there. I already stopped there once. Let's go back. You are to go up to Jerusalem 3 times a year. Why? It's symbolic of you being raised up to Jehovah. It's symbolic of these resurrections, the wave offering of unleavened bread and the wave offering of Shavuot, and the next one that's coming after that. 3 times a year. So that's what this is symbolically representing. You going up to Jehovah. You going up to his throne in heaven. Being raised up. That's why it's important to go up to Jerusalem 3 times a year. And I was able to do it for 2 years in a row. It's awesome. Don't do it all the time or you won't be able to see me here like this. But do it. Try to do it if you can't. Okay, last night we were looking at the stars and we found Andromeda. And after a little bit, up comes Cetus. And we could see Cetus, we could see the head of Cetus, and we even seen the red star called Hasatan. And we could see the 2 ribbons coming out holding the fish. We saw that last night. These are the stars that people looked at from the time of Adam and Eve to understand the history and the salvation of Jehovah. The one star, one constellation I've been looking for is the Big Dipper. And I've not been able to find it, and because of that, I've been all turned around not knowing where I was. Because that shows me where the North Star is. That also shows me where the Little Dipper is. What's so special about the Little Dipper and the North Star? And what's so special about the Big Dipper? They are I think they call them deacons, which is subcategories of the constellation of Cancer. What's he talking about? Now he's into astrology. Cancer is a mistranslation of the word for sheepfold. This is a sheepfold that they're talking about. And it goes all the way around, so instead of a sheepfold, they made it like a crab. But it's a sheepfold. All the stars in this, in every language around the world, are talking about a sheepfold. And in it are sheep and cattle and sheep and a beehive and sheep and cattle and a donkey. What? What's a donkey doing in there? The donkey represents the wild ass of a man. So that's in there. Why? Because the donkey protects the sheep. I didn't know that. So this is a sheepfold. In that sheepfold is this cluster of stars called the beehive. And in that beehive, when you look at the names, is one called the secret place. And it has a name. And I'm not telling you because it's a secret. So look it up. I've got it, I just can't remember it right now. When I need it, I know where to go find it. It's in a book. Not my books. No, not my books. I don't think. Maybe it is at the end of the POA. Okay, maybe it is. I forgot. I got to read my books more often. So that little dipper, the handle is pointing or coming from the North Star. That North Star has moved out of the constellation of Drago, which is Satan, and is moving to another position, which I don't know where it's going to end up. But it's moving through space. And I believe it takes 26,000 years for it to get around. So Jehovah's got another clock that he's working with. And I haven't yet figured that one out. But it's big. That little constellation represents the first wave offering. It too is a sheepfold. It too is the saints. It too represents those at the first wave offering that were raised up. The Big Dipper, it's not, and it's, you know, in Job it's called the bear. Well, it's not a bear. See, Job and Jehovah, we're talking about these constellations, the same ones that people say you're not supposed to look at. The Big Dipper is the Shavuot offering. Us. You want to be in that offering. You want to be keeping the Sabbath and the holy days and the sabbatical years. That's the next wave offering. And then when you go to Cancer sort of encapsulates everything, or the sheepfold. And then on the other side is the good ship Argo. And the good ship Argo has a ton of people on it. And they're all coming home, and they're all happy because they're coming home. They've been on a long voyage, and they're coming home. And it's all about these people coming back. They're coming back. That's the third wave offering. Well, it's not a wave offering, that's the third offering. And that takes place at Sukkot. So at Sukkot, you take all the rest of your fruits from your gardens, all the rest of the fruit and crops from your land, and you make an offering of them. This is the rest of the fruit cakes. Right? It's the rest of mankind. Uncle Bob that died never knew this stuff. The pygmy in Africa had never heard this stuff. The people who have never heard of Yeshua but that lived before him, it's not fair to them to not be able to have this opportunity. The babies that die in infancy, you know, they're still human. They're still part of his plan. He has a great master plan. Today, the 8th day, is the culmination of that plan. What does today represent? Oh, people say it's a great white throne judgment. Yes, that's where all these people come back who have ever lived, and they're judged based on what they knew, or because everyone knows just by looking at nature there's got to be a God. The diversity of nature says that we can't have two rocks banged together and then start a whole thing. Well, where'd the rocks come from? Okay, we had two gases. Well, where'd the two gases come from to start this whole chain of events? Well, it came out of a pool of water. Where'd the water come from? Stop and think. You cannot have this without Him. Just look at your own eyeball, the diversity of the eyeball, to take what you're seeing and translate that into your brain, and then to have your brain remember that years later. How can that happen from two rocks banging together? Go outside and just bang two rocks together and create another universe. See if you can do it. If you can't, hammer them harder. Right? It's nuts. Today is the culmination of all the holy days. Passover, first day of unleavened bread, seventh day of unleavened bread. I'm going to forget one. Shavuot, the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, first day of Sukkot, and now the eighth day. What is He doing? What is His plan? He has called you and you. Look around. Would you have picked any of these people? Now that we've gotten to know them, yes, we will stay friends on Facebook at the Facebook feast site. But before that, we never knew each other. You've flown halfway around the world to be here. He picked you. And that is so awesome. Once you realize that, there's nothing you can't do. Look at me. He picked me. Unbelievable. He, Jehovah, wants to dwell with you. He, Jehovah, wants to have a relationship, a conversation with you. He wants to know you. He wants to know what you're thinking. The same way your 2-year-old wants to tell you about the bug they just found that's crawling up the wall. Come look, look. It's got 5 legs. That's because I pulled one off, but look. And you go out there and you look at it and you say, I'm bored in 2 seconds. But for them, it's exciting. And that's what He sees in us. We danced Simchat Torah. There wasn't a wallflower there. Unbelievable. That was awesome. I see the pictures of you guys getting mikvah, and I said, wow, look how many people went. I wanted to be there. But I had another job to do. He's looking down. You're not doing it 100% right. He's thrilled that you're trying. He's thrilled that you're trying. He has created something here that is unbelievable. He wants to dwell with you. He wants to walk with you like He did with Adam in the garden. He wants to have a conversation. He wants to share stuff with you. He wants to tell you how He made Mars, why He made it red. He wants to show you how the gas is out in outer space, why those things are so many different colors, and how you can do it. He wants to share everything with you. He's made everything for you. Unbelievable. Stop and think. Unbelievable. And this 8th day, what happens? Go to Revelation. You read the 8th day, and on the 8th day, Jehovah and Yeshua, they dwell on earth with men. How did that happen? He tells you in Leviticus over and over and over again. 7 days of purification, and then on the 8th day you can go out and work. I've been doing this for 8 years, and here now it's something's starting to happen. Wow. 7 days of impurity. Then on the 8th day you can go up to the temple for the leper. 7 days of purification. Then on the 8th day, over and over again, same thing. 7 millennial days, and then on the 8th day, we can dwell with Jehovah. It's going to take that long, because we're human, to purify ourselves and the earth. 7 millennial days. Revelations, it says, on the 8th day, after the great white throne judgment, that He dwells on earth. Why is there no 9th day? Because His radiance, His brightness, There's no more night. There's no more darkness. We have, you know what Einstein said, or somebody said, we have darkness because it's void of light. The light's been taken away. He's going to come back and no more darkness because he's going to be here forever and ever with us. That's what this day represents. That's why this day is so important. All the other holy days lead up to this day. All the other holy days are telling you the whole plan of salvation from the beginning, from Passover up to the terrible times of leading up to atonement that I've been explaining to you this week. And then the wedding supper, the wedding feast. And then he comes and dwells with us. Simchat Torah is on the 8th day for a reason. It's the wedding. We have this honeymoon type thing for 7 days, the big party, and then the wedding night. Simchat Torah. That's why these things are important. You look at it and you think there's some sort of Jewish tradition. The Jews do it because maybe it is a tradition, but you can see what it means. It's special. It's awesome. And I've worn out that word and my voice is shutting down. That's an awesome word. Give me a bigger word than awesome. Awesomeness. Awesomely. Awesomer. And my friend in South Africa is going to kill me for wearing out that word, but awesome is what what's happened here. This day, this 8th day, is awesome. And that is what this day is about. The first wave offering was the saints who were up there now, those 24 elders plus maybe more. The next wave offering at Shavuot is the one that we are aiming for. Don't miss it. Otherwise, you got to come in on the good ship Argo with all the rest of the people at the end. And then you're going to be judged for missing this one. This is an awesome day. This is a Sabbath. Do no work on this day. Keep it holy. Keep it holy.
Joseph F. Dumont explores every question about the Sabbatical and Jubilee years in Remembering the Sabbatical Year 2016. In order to understand the truth, you have to expose those things that are not true. What is left is then the facts. Remembering the Sabbatical Years examines all the theories put forward as to when the sabbatical years were, and then using your own Bible shows you how to be able to prove it for yourself. Once you do this, then you too can understand prophecy and in what season the Messiah is to come. Filled with groundbreaking insights, Remembering the Sabbatical Years of 2016 is both a source of wisdom and practical knowledge on an important yet complex subject and a necessary guidebook for prevailing through today's times. The Creator of the universe has set upon His creation a construct of keeping time, and within that construct of keeping time, He has also given certain instructions. These markers of time have everything to do with prophecy as well, for they are the language by which boundaries are set and milestones are crossed. Prophecy affects every living human being on the planet, and so the reader becomes the main character in this book. We have, for all the world, an example of a people who kept and also did not keep the Sabbath years as instructed, and you will see what happened to them in each of these cases. You cannot afford to be ignorant of these things. The curses for not keeping the sabbatical years are happening now all around us, and they are getting worse. We are to wrestle with the Word to get the truth. Get your copy today and begin to understand world events today from a biblical understanding.